Good morning, everyone. I've got 11 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started here with the live brief. My name is Ishwar Iyer. I'm one of the lead forecasters here at the Wakefield Weather Service. And as we know, we are dealing with a significant to major winter storm, especially for northeast portions of our forecast area, with blizzard warnings remaining in effect for the entire eastern shore, with winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories further south. So just hitting the main points here, heavy snow, very windy conditions, and also hazardous marine conditions expected from later today until Monday. And the rain that's currently falling should change to snow pretty quickly from around 4 p.m. through the evening hours. And totals of 2 to 6 or so across eastern Virginia are expected, and going as high as 8 to 15 on the eastern shore, where snow is going to continue through much of tonight and also into Monday morning as well. And blizzard warnings are in effect for the eastern shore due to the combination of the heavy snow with rates of 1 to 2 plus inches per hour, combined with wind gusts of 45 to as high as 60 miles per hour. And that will likely create whiteout conditions at times tonight. And in addition to the snow and wind, we are expecting some minor coastal flooding along the Atlantic coast, but no more than that. And then marine-wise, storm warnings are in effect for the coastal waters north of Cape Charles, with solid gale conditions expected elsewhere. So this is our first blizzard warning since January of 2022, and we issued it for the reason we're expecting over a foot of snow across the Maryland eastern shore, with 4 to 10 inches on the Virginia eastern shore. Combined with those winds, again, are going to create whiteout conditions with visibilities dropping to below a quarter of a mile at times tonight. And then further south and west, where snowfall rates will not be as high and lesser totals are expected, we have winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories, where we do expect a period of snow this evening through the first part of tonight, but that will taper off later tonight, and totals will generally be in the 1 to 3 inch range, maybe up to 4 in the advisory area, and then 2 to 6 inches in the warning area, with the higher amounts towards the northern neck. And getting into our exact specific snowfall forecast, obviously there's always uncertainty with these things, but we have high confidence that we will see those blizzard conditions on the eastern shore tonight. And again, over a foot of snow is expected from Cambridge to Salisbury, with a pretty good gradient of expected, with just 4 to 6 inches, still a significant winter storm across the northern neck and into Accomack and Northampton County, with lesser amounts farther south and west. And we'll get into specifics about timing and peak snowfall rates in a little bit, but in these areas, snowfall rates could peak above 2 inches an hour, and combined with that, wind visibility could be near, under a quarter mile at times. So, and again, confidence is highest as we head towards the eastern shore. So, getting into individual snowfall probabilities, you have a decent chance of 2 inches of snow across much of the area east of 95. And especially north of 64, with high probabilities of 4 plus inches across portions of the northern neck and eastern shore. And then again, we're expecting many locations on the Maryland eastern shore, especially north, the northern part, to see over 12 inches of snow. And these probabilities may be a bit underdone up here. And in a reasonable worst case, where we'd be looking at a foot of snow from Louisetta over to the Virginia Eastern Shore, with a reasonable worst case of 6 inches for the Middle Peninsula here, where you have about 10 to 15, maybe 20% probabilities of 6 inches of snow. And then 6 inches of snow is unlikely across much of the south and southwest portions of the area. And this will be a heavy, wet snow, and we'll transition into drier snow, especially north and east, later tonight as temperatures drop into the upper 20s to around 30. It'll probably actually stay as a wetter snow in most of these areas west of the bay. And in terms of snowfall rates, your peak rates are likely going to occur between 8 p.m. and 3 a.m. with rates of over 2 inches an hour possible at times on the Maryland Eastern Shore, with 1 to 2 inch an hour rates further south and west, even into the Richmond Metro to Hampton Roads. You could see rates of 1 inch an hour for an hour or two, and that could result in slushy road conditions, even with temperatures only dropping to around 32 degrees. And that's why we have those winter weather advisories in effect there, that far south and west. And again, we are expecting the rain to transition over to snow probably closer to 4 p.m. up north, 4 to 5 p.m., and then quickly transitioning to snow pretty much everywhere else between 5 and 9 p.m. And we're not expecting much of any snow in northeast North Carolina here. So I'm going to switch screens and just step through. This is just a simulated radar for the event, but I feel this is a pretty good representation of what we think will happen here. Again, the rain is ongoing. You can see the time in the top right corner here. And then by 4, you can see it start to transition to snow, and then quickly transitioning to snow everywhere by 7, 8, 9 p.m. And again, the heaviest snowfall rates are going to be in those 2 to 6 hours after rain transitions to snow here. And the dark blue shows potential here for rates over of 1 inch an hour or more. And you can see potentially rates even, above 2 inches an hour on the Eastern Shore. And this is 8 p.m. And then as we head towards midnight, it quickly tapers off west of the bay. But snow continues through the night on the Eastern Shore with those wind gusts of 45 to 60 miles per hour. And it really hangs on through late Monday morning before finally tapering off as we head towards Monday afternoon on the Eastern Shore. So that's why just how prolonged this event will be. That's where we're expecting those totals upwards of 1 foot or more. So I will switch back here, just showing our tables in terms of timing and temperatures. Generally not dropping much below 32, except on the Eastern Shore where it'll drop to 29 to 30 degrees overnight, which will also help things accumulate more as well, especially on the roads. And then temperatures do rise above freezing everywhere on Monday, although there won't be that much in the way of sunshine. But that should help things melt, especially in areas that don't see as much snow. I mean, obviously it'll take a while to melt here on the Eastern Shore. And anything that does melt on Monday will likely refreeze Monday night, with lows dropping well below freezing here. But the good news is we do rise well above freezing everywhere, except maybe the Eastern Shore where it will be stuck in the 30s. But you should see a decent amount of melting on Tuesday. The other aspect of this event is the wind. We do have wind advisories for Southside Hampton roads, including Portsmouth, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and as Eastern Currituck as well. In those areas, we do not have a winter storm warning, and we also expect, gusts upwards of 40 to potentially 50 miles per hour near the immediate shoreline. And obviously the highest winds, 45 to 6, potentially up to 60 on the eastern shore here. With it'll still be breezy inland, but not to the extent we're expecting up here. And just switching gears, talking a little bit about coastal flooding. Generally, just no worse than minor coastal flooding. Although in Worcester County, Ocean City, near the Isle of Wight Bay, in that area, you could see near moderate flooding. So potentially up here, you could see inundation values, 1 to maybe 2 feet in the most vulnerable locations, but elsewhere just no worse than minor flooding. And you can see right here our forecast for Ocean City, just showing it getting close to moderate flood stage, with the other locations along the Atlantic coast seeing mainly minor flooding, with the winds quickly turning to the northwest as that low pressure system deepens offshore. And finally, talking a little bit about the marine aspect of the forecast, we have storm warnings with pretty strong gusts, upwards of 55 to 60 knots over the northern coastal waters, with brief sustained gale conditions expected in the lower bay and southern coastal waters, with sustained winds of 35 knots, with gusts up to around 45 knots for a few hours out of the northwest tonight. And marine winds, again, we have gusts highest across the north, with pretty solid to high-end gale conditions elsewhere, especially on the east side of the bay, lower bay, and southern coastal waters. I mean, certainly could see a few storm force gusts down here, especially at those elevated sites. And then obviously seas will build, but 7 to 13 feet, occasionally 15 to upwards of 20 feet possible, highest up across the northern waters. And we will have another live briefing tomorrow at the same time, and we will send a briefing package this afternoon. And with that, I will stop the recording, and feel free to type any questions in the chat. Thank you so much for your time.